What's up, guys? Just enjoying a little post workout snack here, and getting ready to go do some work at the barn after hitting up a nice set of legs today. I know what you're probably wondering. What'd you hit for legs today, Colin? Well, we hit up some glorious, wonderful knees over toes front lunges, which are excellent for your knee health as long as you're doing them safely. And then I hit up some standing calf raise, some seated calf raise, and then I did, I believe it is the yoga pose called either difficult or chair pose. It's a tough pose, and then you hold a weight out in front of you once you graduate from the weight-free version, which I have graduated from the weight-free version, and it is most definitely a challenging position to be in, but it's very rewarding for your body. Very rewarding. You just feel great doing it. And I've got to pick up some bananas, so we're going to go get some bananas. And be a monkey. That's what I do. I monkey around. And I find out. I'm just going to put that apple right there. Let's go inside on a journey. Come on. You and me. We got this. So the interesting thing about legs today was actually kind of threefold. One, I'm dangerously charming. So making friends is never something that's like super hard. But there are two people at the gym today. One was one of my friends. One was one of my enemies. And I don't mean that in like a, hoo-hoo-ha. No, I straight up have a guy that just hates my guts. It's kind of funny. I love your shirt. I used to live out there. Kauai. Did you live out there too?
No.
Beautiful place. Lady. Lady had a Kauai, Hawaii t-shirt. So cool. Okie doke. Let's get us some bananas. We've got those ones. And we've got those ones. And we've got those ones. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good haul. Let's do this thing. You available? Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
Just some bananas, my day.
You got it.
How's the day treating you, brother?
It's been pretty good so far. How about you?
You know, no complaints. Woke up, got a good lift in, getting some bananas.
Here you go.
It's a good day.
Oh, yeah.
I like all the pinatas you guys got over there. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I like the sounds of that.
Oh, yeah.
And is it Cooper?
Yeah, you got it.
Nice to meet you, Cooper.
Nice to meet you too.
Insert?
Yeah, should be all ready for you.
Okay. Okie doke.
You want that? Chili juicy?
Yes, please.
All right.
Thanks, sir. You as well. All right, and we're back in the now. That was a confusing door. But as I was saying, got some great people at the gym. Got some really weird people at the gym. Its majority is great people. You're gonna have a couple weirdos there, you know. You got some people that are tweaking so hard on supplementation that if you come up and talk to them, their first initial reaction is, "What does this guy want? Oh my god!" It's like, dude, chill. Lower your dosage down at least a couple grams. Fuck's sake. I shouldn't cuss so much. Crying out loud. And then you've got the people that are just mean. And the rest of the people are amazing, intelligent, fun to be around, uplifting, positive, fit, and really just fun, you know? They're just fun people. You go and talk to them and they're just like having a blast. You're having a blast. They're having a blast. Just, it's a good time. It's a good time, man. Good time to be alive. All right. Let's do this thing. Get going. Apples make everything better. Prove me wrong. You're hungry? Have an apple. You're drowning? Have a bucket of apples. They float, help you survive. You're choking to death on something? Someone throws an apple at you and hits you in the stomach hard enough, you gotta cough it out. Apples fix everything. You want a garden? Boom! You got seeds in there. Grow them. Want to boost testosterone? Apples. Want to look intelligent? Eat an apple. According to some random study that is totally not true, eat an apple to wake up. I disagree. I think there's a better way to wake up. Throw an apple at someone's head. Makes them wake up. Way better than trying to eat an apple instead of have a coffee to wake up, in my opinion. But again, that's my 2 cents. Could be wrong. I just got a weird system that doesn't wake up with apples. Regardless, apples are amazing. I mean, look at all the things you can make out of them. Trees, wood, barbecue, applesauce, apple cider, apple pies, apple butter. That's a good one. Apple butter is good stuff. But yeah, fueled off of nothing but love and rage and apples. That's the secret to getting big, guys. Apples. You got to apple around and find out. Nice kind of overcast day today. No harsh sunshine. But here's another thing about working out. Whenever you're going in, you've got basically 1 to 3 options whenever you're going in to work out. You can go in fasted, which is what I did this morning. I went in fasted. I wanted to burn more fat, so I did a slower uphill walk, didn't get my heart rate too elevated, and then I maintained, just did some weights after that. Didn't eat till afterwards. I didn't even have like an intra-workout snack, which brings us to the second type of workout you can do with food: intra-workout snacks. Intra-workout snacks are for people that are, they're just trying to get big. Doesn't matter how you're affecting your blood sugar or anything like that. You just want to get big. And having an intra-workout snack is great, especially around like an hour, hour and a half. Highly recommend intra-workout snacks. Third option you can do if you don't want to do an intra-workout snack for your workouts, is third and finally, you can just eat something anywhere from 30 minutes up to 2 hours before. If it's something really light and carb heavy, 30 minutes. Like if you're having something fast digesting like sugar, rice cakes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, honey, etc., 30 minutes before is fine, as long as you're not going to be doing some HIIT intensive cardiovascular exercise. If you are going to be doing some HIIT intensive cardiovascular exercise, easy digest things like Gatorade or honey is what I would recommend. You look like you own a Harley. I wish. I did own a bike. It wasn't a Harley. But yeah, those are things that you can do for cardiovascular intensive ones. If you're just going in for like a weight session, it's not going to be a Tom Platz leg exercise where you are just destroying your body due to immense amounts of revenge energy, then yeah, 30 minutes is fine for something like a rice cake with some food on it. I'll usually have something like an egg and 200 grams of sweet potatoes is what I usually have. Or you run marathons. Half marathons. Dang, dude, you were like on point over there, dog. On point. I have to like go to you to ask for the winning lotto numbers. What are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 9 power? But yeah, so those are the three kind of food things you can do for workout. You can have fasted, fasted intra-workout, or you can pre-game anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending upon the intensity and the type of food you're eating. If you're eating something like a full meal, I recommend having somewhere around 3 to 4 hours. It's going to be a little bit tougher if you go for a longer workout. Generally, energy starts kind of running out around an hour and a half, maybe an hour. So just bear that in mind, I'd say. Yeah. Fortune teller Josh Collins over here. Damn, man. But that's kind of what I'd recommend for the different types of food you can have. As far as drinks and stuff working out, I would never recommend milk working out. Ever would I ever recommend drinking milk in the middle of a workout. That is just asking to vomit. If you want to have water, great. If you want to have an electrolyte powder, great. If you want to have EAAs, BCAAs, fine, perfect. If you want to have pre-workout or high caffeine content, then make sure you immediately, and I do mean immediately, have at least 8 ounces of water with that. At least 8 ounces of water with that. It's probably closer to like 10 or 12, depending on how big or small of a person you are. Just because if you don't do that, it will make you nauseous, especially if it's like a 200, 250 milligrammer plus. And if you're getting a 400 milligram to like 500 milligram that you'll get out of some of the bucked up cans and some of the I Am God ones and such like that, I think those are the ones that have the 4 or just a straight up Ghost pre-workout little can, they will make you very nauseous if you're not careful. And I see you guys commenting at a red light. Give me a second. Okay. Oh yeah. What's your fastest half? My fastest half? So that one's kind of tough. I did a fastest half and I was in the lead. I was actually winning it. And then me in second place got lost for 3 miles. So we were on point for, gosh, what was it? I want to say it was, we ended up running like 2.5 hours, and I could be misremembering this, but we ended up running like 2.5 hours to get our, what was going to be our 13.1 and ended up being a 16.1 race down. I want to say it was on point. We were running like 6-minute miles, a little under like 6 minutes or 6:18 was what his watch was running at, I think. So 6 times 13, whatever that's going to be. But those are things I'd recommend. Also, as far as cardio goes, the general science, or I should say the premium science, if you're trying to build muscle, is to save your cardio for the end. And the reason being is that way you can do the maximal amount of muscle growth and tearing and lifting with your, stronger type 2 muscle twitch fibers. And then you leave your endurance ones at the end to just burn fat at a steady state. Or you can do them, fasted in the morning, which I really like to do. What's your fastest half? Oh no, milk's a big, or sodas you're going to throw up for sure. I've never tried sodas. That's an interesting one. Yahan Hashem, what's up, guys? What job you do? I do engineering, and then I am trying to grow my social following on here so that I can get away from that and have financial freedom. That'd be cool. Yeah. Good math on that one, man. I don't know if that's good or bad on a full. I've seen the guys that run it really fast and they're running like freaking 4:30 to 5-minute miles and they're just sprinting the entire marathon. It's wild. Those guys are monsters. But they can't lift as much as me. Damn straight. Now, I will say this regarding cardio. If you want to throw it at the beginning or the end because that just works better for you, do it. Honestly, just do it. It's not the end of the freaking world if you do it. I mean, if you're a professional bodybuilder that's competing for his or her open card, yeah, there's some nuances you can tweak. But if you're not doing that and you're doing it as a hobby like what I do, or you're doing it as, you know, I want to just get better and get in shape, or I just want to be as healthy as I can, it's not going to make or break you one way or the other. Lungs of steel. You're going into electrical engineering. That's awesome, dude. That's actually what I got my degree in, was electrical engineering. I graduated with electrical engineering honors and much less hair than I started. But I'm not sure what year you're at. If you are still going through it, I would recommend to enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. You know, make sure you're spending time outside of studies because it will take every spare second, and friends are one of the only things that actually make college bearable. And I didn't do that. I decided after freshman year, and all my initial friend group left, that I was going to just do everything myself, like Thanos. And as a result, I became a lot like Thanos. I became kind of grumpy. I became bald. I became muscular. And I developed a deep-seated hatred for everything in the universe. UFC predictions. Oh, yes, please. I like to run before I get everything warmed up. Heck yeah, man. I'm in the prereqs, not the career side yet. Okay, I got you. Prereqs. Sweet, sweet. So, Josh, are you going through college right now for EE, or are you just like getting kind of warmed up for that, I guess? Yes, Thanos. It's kind of tough, man. It is tough because you want to study, you want to be good at school, but having friends gets you a lot of the answer guides too. All of a sudden it's, hey, buddy, so you got the answer guide over there. Want to team up? And then they team up, and then you get the answer guide, and life is good. All right, let's see what this guy's going to do. You know, it's always kind of an interesting social experiment, I'll say, to watch other people when you're driving. Be like, oh, is this guy going to cause a wreck? I hope not. That'd be bad. Some of them just don't care. They just go. Other ones, they'll have a brain. And it's nice because they use it. Let's see. That goes back in there. Yabba dabba dabba! I'm sorry, I've been addicted to Rick and Morty for the past 48 hours, and it's been giving me immense nihilistic God syndrome vibes. And I've been enjoying it immensely. Pickle Rick! But yeah. Okay, we are out of the crisis, averted. And it's time to get back into things. Can you hit a car? You know, I would hit a car. I would, but I don't have the blue shell for Mario Kart right now. And so that's slowing me down. I don't want to lose the race. Please honk. 25, my generation is full of clowns. It's true when I go. That's good people. Heck yeah, dude. There's a lot of clowns out there. Some of them are fun. Some of them are down. That's why you got to be a fun clown. Life's full of clowns. Whoa there, doggo. That was scary. I'm in danger. Okay. May end up hitting someone by accident. Make it your wish. Except I'm going to be the one that's getting destroyed because it's a mother trucking semi with a pull-behind trailer that's right next to me. But it's a red one, so it's okay because they go faster. Good heavens, that was frightening. Beep, beep. Yeah, no kidding. I will not honk. No. So if you mess with the honk, you get the bonk. Okay. This guy's going an acceptable pace, or an average citizen. But not for me. I see you, Mr. Anderson. Okay. Have my little fun dark moment there. Back to workouts. I got distracted by people driving. Apologies. Back to working out. As far as reps and sets go for hypertrophy, the best growth that I have seen and that studies have seen, like National Institute of Health, you know, if you follow people like Jeff Nippert, stuff like that, you will see the most growth somewhere between 3 and 5 sets, with 4 sets being a sweet spot, and having a rest period between like 60 to 90 seconds on average, and shooting for a rep range of usually 8 to 12. Now, I'm not saying you can't put on muscle doing other things. You can. But if you want it to be the most efficient for both size and strength, and you will get the most out of size from this, shoot for 8 to 12. And it should be a tough 8 to 12. Like by the time you get to 8, you should maybe be able to do 9, or not even be able to do 9. You should be done. And the same thing for 12. Like you hit 12 and you could maybe do 13, but probably not. And that's how you know you're going hard enough. It is literally just your body telling you what to do. Okay. Apologies. Yeah, Jeff's a good guy, man. Yell hi to someone. Just watch him just, hello, just off the side of the road. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are on their phones, and I can just like honk at them and look at them and be like, hey, just see what they do. Oh my gosh. Yeah, cause a massive 3-car pileup just for shits and giggles. Why not? Life's short. Okay. So, as far as that goes, and as far as sets per muscle group, that one's a little bit, I don't want to say controversial, but I would say aim for hitting it at least twice a week if you're wanting to see some growth. So, for instance, if you're trying to grow your arms, like most guys are, trying to grow your arms, aim for hitting your arms in some respect at least twice a week and hitting them directly. So say you're doing a set of tricep extensions and then you're hitting them indirectly, bench press, shoulder press, and then say you're hitting them with bicep curls and then you're hitting them indirectly with seated rows and angled T-bar rows or lat pull downs. You'll hit them indirectly like that. And the larger muscle group, those, whenever you're using more compound muscles, typically you'll see better results from that sort of workout. So if you're doing something like a bench press, you'll see pretty good results for your triceps too, especially if you throw in a little bit of isolation afterwards. You watching the fights tonight? Wait a second. With food. Can you elaborate what I'll be doing as an EE with food? Okay, yes, I can elaborate what you're doing as an EE in a second. But first, regarding the whole number of sets. So if you're hitting, say, you're doing the bro split, push-pull legs, which is not my favorite, but let's say you're doing push-pull legs. And then you do that 5 days a week. You're doing push-pull legs, push-pull, or maybe you're doing push-pull legs, push legs, or any variation therein. Whenever you are doing that, you'll have a compound exercise or two. You know, you'll have something like chest press, and then you'll have like incline chest press, and you'd have, you know, like your shoulders, and that'd be like this, and this movement. And that hits a lot of everything up in here, and then it hits your triceps as well. So it's very good for that. And then you might throw in a couple of shoulder isolations, like you might do some lateral raises, you might do some tricep pull downs, and that's a good way to get a nice full-rounded push day. And you throw in some abs at the end, some walking or something to that effect, and some stretching, and it'd be a day. Have a banana, call it good. And for legs, you do something where you are, gosh, I hate having one leg day like that. But if you're going to do a leg day like that, you'd hit something compound like, say, squats or lunges, and then you hit another compound like leg press or Cossack squats, something where you're building up not just strength in one unilateral plane, but you're building up functional strength as well. So maybe you do jump lunges or jump squats or something. Those suck, by the way. And then you go and you do some isolationist things. You do some calf raises, and you do another set of calf raises, because one machine of calf raises is never enough. You always got to do more. And then you do maybe some leg extensions, maybe some leg curls, maybe some hip thrusts, something like that. And then do your abs, do a walk, do some stretch, have a banana, call it a day. Now, back to Josh's question. How does that tie in to life in general? How does that tie into having a job, being an EE, things like that? Well, in Josh's case, as an EE, you'd be looking at 4 to 5 years, because quite frankly, if you don't come in with college credits, that 4-year plan is a load of shite. Especially if you have any insufficiencies in any of your basics, like grammar, math, especially math. Like if you skip a little bit of math, like I did, oh, it's going to be HE double hockey sticks hard. And once you go in, you'll find out that you have somewhere generally between 12 and 18 hours of credits. And that basically means those are the number of hours per week that you spend in a class. And then you take that times 3, and that's the number of hours outside of class you are expected, at minimum, to spend on homework. So if you're doing let's say 15 hours, and then you take that times 3, now you're looking at a 60-hour work week. If you're pulling a 20 hours of credits, which is the max you can take, I believe, last time I checked, 20 or 22, I'm going to say 20, then you're looking at an 80-hour work week, which for those of you that are not in the workforce, that is the equivalent of pulling 5 16-hour days. Now, granted, you can pull some of the weekend time, like most of the students, myself included, did. But I will say this. Whenever you start pulling those 20 hours like that, it's not fun. It's not very feasible. It's not an enjoyable experience. You don't have time for really anything. You barely have time for sleep, for food. You barely have time for anything. So in that case, to get workouts in, I would recommend that you walk places. Walk places, park further away, get up every 50 minutes to an hour, do a little bit of walking around your house, squat down to grab things. Don't just bend over and touch yours. No, fully squat down like a 3-year-old. That was weird. Squat down like you are investigating some interesting insect on the ground and look at it. That's what I'd recommend. First year is going to be the weed out year, and that's going to be a lot of your general electives: physics, chemistry, calculus. And then second year is going to be a lot more of your meat and potatoes. Third and fourth are going to just be actually starting to use things in the real world. So second year sucks ass. Third year, you're going to be doing a little bit more realistic projects, which is nice. And fourth year, you're going to be doing senior design, which is an absolute migraine creation machine. It's literally called the migraine creation machine, like the MCM is what they call it. They were going to call it that, but they just decided to call it senior design so that people wouldn't get scared whenever they went into college. So, Josh, that's what you've got to expect. You've got a lot of learning, a lot of potential fun, as long as you socialize, make sure you're getting at least 6 hours of sleep at night. Make sure you are practicing safe caffeine use, proper nutrition, getting good protein sources, good vegetable sources, good fruits, good fats, good starchy and non-starchy carbs. You're doing that and socializing and making sure that you've shadowed an electrical engineer you're going to be okay, kid. If you haven't shadowed an electrical engineer, do it. Do it right now. Go and shadow one and be like, hey, what do you do during the day? And they'll be like, this is what I do. And you'll be like, this seems very exciting. Or you're going to be like, well, this sounds awful. And you're going to realize that electrical engineering very rapidly is or is not for you. Because that job shadow is what you will be doing after college. It's not like, oh, I could be doing, no. 9.5 times out of 10, that job shadow is a very accurate portrayal of what you will expect to see. Solar arrays in Dubai, but most of the time you will be in a cubicle surrounded by moderately unhappy people, moderately unhappy. You know, there's going to be some of them that are happy as well. So you got a mix. You got moderately happy, moderately unhappy. Depends on where you go. If you can find the ones that are more leaning towards, you know, being less stressed, more positive, I'd recommend finding a job like that. That's what I'm at with my job. The people there are less stressed, more positive. I used to work DOD, so that was very stressed. Okay. See you guys writing. I am going to check those comments out here in a second. When I pull over, I'll look through them. But yeah, that's kind of what college and stuff like that. As far as workouts go, whenever you're really busy, I mean, let's say you're a single parent. Let's say you're working 1 or 2 jobs because one job doesn't pay for anything in the economy right now. Unless you have a super degree. Don't hit the road. Okay. But yeah, unless you're making like $37 an hour, which most of us aren't, being a single person is very hard. And so let's say you're a single parent and you're working 2 jobs. So you're working about, let's say, 60 hours a week. You got 60 hours a week going, and you're working on all that fun stuff. What I would recommend doing is A, tweaking your diet as much as possible, and B, making sure that your sleep is reasonably on point, and C, making sure that as far as workouts go, just walk. Try and walk. That would be the best piece of advice I could give you, is walk places. Get in your steps. No matter how you do it, walk. Incorporate squats and push-ups, and if you can, get a pull-up bar for your house and incorporate those into your everyday movements. If you are working from home, every hour, get up, stand up, walk around for 3 minutes or so, 3 to 5 minutes, do some pull-ups, do some squats, lay down, do some stretching, get outside, see the sky, do something where you are moving. Everyone's like, oh, you fall apart after 30. Baloney. No, that's a lie. The reason people fall apart after 30 is 2 reasons. 1, you've given yourself more time to acquire a life-changing injury. Okay, so that's where most people are getting that from. And 2, most people are getting married around 22. All right, and then a lot of them are getting a divorce. 50 to 70% of them are getting a divorce by the time they hit 23 or thereabouts or somewhere, at least from what I've seen. It's not an actual representation, but from the people that I have gone on dates with that are recently single, they have all been in like that 23, 24 range. So anyway, going back to what you can do for workouts. Just walk around. If you want something more challenging, let's say that you have an office job where you're at work and you're expected to be on the phone, stand up. You know, get a couple boxes that you can put underneath your desk to raise and lower, or just drop $100 so you can get a raise and lower desk. You know, it's not that expensive. It's nowhere near PlayStation 5 level. And that's going to be super beneficial for your health. The other thing you can do is get a pair of dumbbells. All right? If you want to have the most versatile dumbbells that you can get and you want to drop a chunk of change, get the ones that are variable that you can change. That's what I'd recommend. If you want to not drop a chunk of change, then I would recommend that you buy a pair of dumbbells that are in the 20 to 30 pound range, and buy another pair of dumbbells that is in the 5 to 10 pound range. And that way you've got a nice little rep range you can do for more challenging movements and for easier movements. And then just take those with you and walk with them. You can do a thing that they call farmer's carries. And farmer's carries are where you just have dumbbells, you walk around. They're great for your upper back and neck, and build up your legs. Your legs are going to be the main muscle group that's responsible for both testosterone increase, which leads to muscle growth, and for building up, had a brain fart, sorry, not building up, for increasing muscle loss or increasing fat loss. So legs are very important. They actually did a study on it. If you go through and you do, say, a leg exercise every day, your metabolism will go up on average, what was it? 20%? 20% per week? Something like that. It's pretty impressive. It was very impressive whenever I was doing it. Okay, let's see. I am not watching the fights tonight. Can you elaborate what I'll be doing as an EE? Okay, push pull. Feel like I don't have. Josh, abs are very important. They are incredibly important. I would say they are, if not the most important muscle that people should be hitting. It is at least top 3. You can pull Hitman cosplay. I mean, anything for the right price. What you yapping about? We're yapping about fitness and EE stuff. I mean, in the workforce, what do you do? In the workforce, I do substation design. So I sit behind a desk. I'm an office worker, and I basically connect the lines of various substations to various other substations, and the hundreds and thousands of pages of drawings in between, and all the hundreds and hundreds of drawings and devices that they have. So for instance, from a substation, you'll have, say, 69 kilovolts going through a breaker, and then it hits a switch. Your high voltage switch then goes up to, say, a transmission line node, a T-link, and then you'll go to an actual transmission line, and then you'll have your transmission line. It'll be rated, say, as 4-aught Penguin, which is a type of south wire that they make. It's a type of conductor. And then you have that going out, and then that kind of stops where you don't deal with it outside of the sub. For the sub itself, you have to deal with breakers, switches, all the relays, meters, the RTUs, all the different devices and everything. Goofy gang, hello again, what's up? Am I a real person? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You kidding me? Look at this jawline. AI, baby, 100%. I just want to understand what Tesla was talking about. I heard that about legs. Yeah. I don't know if Tesla was an electrical engineer, though, man. I really don't. You know, if you want to get into some of that stuff, and that really does fascinate you, you can with electrical engineering, and that would be an area that I would recommend primarily for that. You know, you're going to be dealing with motors, you're going to be dealing with AC, you're going to be dealing with DC, you're going to be dealing with, you know, different types of, what was it? Signals and systems. Honestly, if Tesla was your icon and you want to be like Tesla, then yes, electrical engineering is unfortunately what you're going to be going into. Odia player, I am from India. Well, welcome, Odia player. I am just hopping off here, but thank you guys for tuning in, and catch you later. Going into the dead zone, and I got to get do some work, so ciao.